Hi, it's John. Today's video is a little different to usual. You might notice I don't have a guitar and I'm not actually going to be playing any guitar, so you might think, what's this guy on about? A question I got sent to me via email was, how do I make money as a session musician? And it's a really good question, and it's something that lots of my students and lots of people ask me at gigs and shows and different things like this. Yeah, it's a weird world to get in because there's no sort of exam you can take to qualify as a registered guitar player or drummer or musician or whatever. Being a musician, there's lots of old sort of stereotypical sentences like you're in the right place at the right time and all of this, and you have to be the one in a million. With me as a guitarist, the way I went about getting musicianship and getting jobs with my musicianship is kind of putting yourself in the right places at the right times, but also being the right person. So you can shorten the odds massively with this being the 1,000,000 to 1 shot. If you are prepared, if you know your instrument, just like, say, an electrician has to be fully sort of clued up and qualified to enter your home and change a light bulb, we as musicians should be clued up on our theory, on our timing, on our sort of improvising, all the different attributes that go towards being a musician. Always be ready for whatever you can play. So if the phone rings and somebody says, can you come and do a jazz gig or a country gig or metal or whatever, you can say, yeah. And that also, it shortens the odds on you being the right person in the right place at the right time. Because if you turn up and you say, I can only play like, AC/DC covers in the key of G, you're shortening your odds. So to be a musician, it's just like being a tradesman. You have to be ready and able to play over any style of music or with any type of musicians. And then you're going to be open to more kinds of work. Another really good practice for me was always to put yourself in the situation where you're willing to try different kinds of work. So obviously everybody starts out with the dream that I'm going to be in Aerosmith, I'm going to be in AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, whatever. I'm going to be the next big singer, I'm going to be the best drummer in the world, all of this. Sometimes you realize that doesn't happen too often. So how am I going to make a good living the rest of my life with my skills as a musician? So one thing I used to do was go to jam nights when I was studying in London. I used to make sure I was networking all the time, so talking to different players, giving my details out. Oh, my name's John, good to play with you, I'd love to meet you again, all this kind of stuff. Go and sit in musicals. If you know anybody who's playing on a musical or a show anywhere, go sit in next to them, watch them turn the pages, watch how they do things, and then you might just get the call as the backup. Go to different gigs, watch bands, meet players, just make your face known. Another good tip, get on social media, something like a YouTube channel or a Facebook presence or a website, something that documents your sort of stature and your sort of hobbies and things like this, all the different types of things you're doing as a musician. So you are in the shop window. And again, this is all shortening the odds on you being in the right place at the right time, because more people are going to be aware of you, more people are going to see you, see how things go, what you got, the chops you've got, how you play. Another topic is to be somebody who people want to work with. So I've played with lots and lots of, artists and sort of names that people know, names that people don't know, things like this. And one of the biggest traits I look for is, do I want to be in a rehearsal or do I want to be traveling 6 hours to a show with that person? So the big advice is be somebody who's nice, somebody who's bearable, somebody who's on time. Somebody who has a car for being a musician is a big one, because you can get to gigs, you have good reliable gear. You're putting yourself out there as a professional sort of item that people purchase. So you have to have the right gear, the right attitude, you have to look right. So if I'm going for a metal gig, I'm going to turn up looking what I would think a metal band member should look like. Or if I'm in a jazz band, I might turn up in a suit or anything. Another question I get asked all the time is, how do you get session work? I want to be a session guitarist, or I want to be a session drummer, or whatever. For me, in my experience, session work is just something where you're getting paid to either play live or record something. It could come under many different banners of different things, but again, it's what I was talking about. Just be available, be professional, be pleasant, and keep playing and never stop practicing. You see lots of guitar players or musicians or whatever who are sort of got great expertise in one or two areas, and then put them out of the comfort zone and they don't work so well. To be a really successful tradesman standard musician, you've got to be good across the board in any genre, any style. You know, I myself, admittedly, I'm not the best guitar player in the world, but I can do a professional job in any style. And that's something that gets me a lot of work, is the fact that I can turn up and make it sound like you want it to sound. I'm maybe not totally Eddie Van Halen in metal or rock, and I might not be sort of, you know, Brad Paisley in a country genre, but I can do these kind of things. And that's it. Versatility, attitude, and time. That's it, basically, for me. That's what I've found. And again, everybody's story is different in music. I'm talking from my position where I'm a lecturer in a college teaching guitar and music. I own this music school, which is Elliotts Music School, where I've got a few staff working under me, and it's a really successful school, which is great. And I'm also still out there making money as a touring and session guitarist, playing for different bands. These are just a few ideas on that email, but I hope it helps. If anybody has any further questions, please get in touch.